Hi, I'm Doug Shackelford. I'm one of the lead professors for taxes and business strategy.
And I'm Ed Maydew. I'm the other lead professor.
And we want to tell you a little bit about ourselves, and then we'll tell you a little bit about the course. I grew up on a farm in North Carolina. One of the things I learned was you work really hard and you don't make a lot of money. So I came as an undergraduate to UNC, and I thought maybe I wanted to be a lawyer. I discovered as an undergraduate I really enjoyed economics and political science. Then I was told that accounting would be a good undergraduate major if you wanted to go to law school. In my last semester I took a tax class, and I discovered you could go into tax practice without going to law school. So I had a little bit of economics, a little bit of political science, a little bit of accounting, and a little bit of law, and that's sort of the way I look at tax. It's sort of the intersection of those different things. After undergraduate, I worked at Arthur Andersen as a tax consultant for 5 years. I then decided I thought I might want to get into teaching. I went to the University of Michigan where I got my PhD. And in 1990 I came back to Carolina. I've been here ever since. I've taken visits to Stanford University, to Maastricht in the Netherlands, and to Oxford University in England.
And I'll just do the same thing but in reverse. So I joined UNC in 1999. I'm a professor here. I teach mainly in the MBA program, the Masters of Accounting program, and the PhD program. Prior to UNC, I was on the faculty at the University of Chicago where I taught in the MBA program. I've also been a visiting professor at Cornell. Prior to Chicago, I was a PhD student at the University of Iowa. I grew up in Iowa. Prior to that, I was in Chicago working for what is now PricewaterhouseCoopers in their tax area. And prior to that, I was a happy undergraduate student. One kind of interesting thing about me that relates to this class is that I'm actually a second-generation tax professor. My father, who's now retired, was a tax professor, and my one brother is a tax attorney in Chicago. So we're a little worried there's a genetic issue in the family. I have 3 kids. So far they haven't shown any tendencies towards tax, but we'll see. So now let's talk about the class a little bit. So this class is a tax strategy class. What does that mean? That means that it's not a tax law class per se. We're not going to teach you huge amounts of detail about the law. It's going to be focused on strategy, meaning that how does tax relate to the larger organization? How does it tie into finance? How does it tie into accounting? How does it tie into your corporate strategy? Now, what we hope to get that you'll get from the class are essentially 4 things. Number 1, you're going to get some tools for thinking about tax planning. Okay? So tools for thinking about tax planning means these are ways of thinking about tax and tax strategy that will apply today. They'll apply 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. Even when the law is a little different, these ways of thinking will still apply. And these tools will apply not only in the US, but also around the world, really. It doesn't really matter what country you're in. The ways of thinking will still apply. Germany, Brazil, Japan, doesn't matter. We've had a lot of international students over the years in our classes, and when they've gone to their home countries after the program, we've had good feedback from them that the class has been very valuable. Number 3, you'll get a competitive advantage. So what we found is most MBA students, and really most people, realize that taxes are important. They've seen people across the years, they've seen companies over the years, and they know that some companies pay a lot of tax, some pay very little. So most people know that taxes matter and that it'd be a good thing to know about tax, but most people don't know much about tax, and that's because they also fear it because it's very complicated. So you've taken a step in the right direction by signing up for this course because you're guaranteed that you're going to know something about tax by the end of the day. So you'll have a competitive advantage over other students that don't take the class. Lastly, you will get a tax vocabulary. So just like accounting is the language of business, tax is really part of that language. So by the end of the class, you're going to be very familiar with terms like what territorial taxation is versus worldwide taxation, what investment tax credits are, what a Roth IRA is. You'll know what the difference between a Section 338G election and a Section 338H10 election. So you'll be able to use these terms in conversation with your tax advisors and with other people in your company comfortably. And so you'll not only be intelligent, but you'll also sound intelligent.
So who should take this class? Well, only people who are affected by taxes. And by that I mean everyone, whether personally or through your business. We found that students who have interest in finance find this course important, but also marketing or operations, human resources. In all areas, you're going to find that taxes matter in your business. And they matter in the business whether you're in a large multinational and trying to understand global flows of cash, or if you're in a small business, maybe an entrepreneur starting up a new business. You'll find that taxes matter in any enterprise that you might find yourself in. We view this course as a bit of a capstone, because if you look back on the previous classes you've had in the business school, typically they either ignore taxes entirely, or they might express taxes with a little t. And sometimes if the math works out right, the little t can cancel out and you don't even have to think about taxes. Our experience has been, both personally and professionally, that taxes matter. So we're going to revisit a lot of topics you've seen. We're just going to add taxes back in. So we take an approach that's basically what we consider cradle to grave. And by that we mean we start with an entrepreneur who has a thought about a business they'd like to run. We start asking questions of what taxes should you consider in forming that company. And then we talk about, so now you have the business up and running, the operations, where do taxes fit in? You want to make certain investments, how do taxes matter? From there, you might want to think about taking your company public. How would taxes fit in with the public reporting requirements that you would face? Maybe you want to go global. How does it matter, how does it affect to have taxes in multiple countries? You then might want to do mergers or acquisitions. Maybe you want to divest some of your business. Maybe you want to rebalance your portfolio in different ways. We go all the way until you now want to get out of the business. Maybe you want to retire. You want to figure out how do you leave your wealth to the next generation. We discuss that as family wealth planning and look at things such as estate and gift planning, which is extremely important, particularly for family businesses. We really enjoy this course. We hope you will too. We hope you'll have a lot of fun.
We hope you enjoy the course.